I'll start the show with a song. New you. That's a song that's being offered by Dwayne Hepner. Dwayne, the new man, the author of the adventurous series of new books that are available at lulu.com, or if you get a hold of Kelsey Lynn Brown on Facebook or YouTube, you can get PDFs of them. Today I'll read a little bit of one of the new books. This is new book 3, The Real Far Country, Real Guidance, Real Education, by Dwayne the Great Writer. Now I will talk about the 4 groups of experiences concerning death. Mankind is divided into these groups or distinct classes because of the typical types of people who experience the various forms of passing over to the unseen worlds. The first group includes all of those who have no real guide and no knowledge to cross over from the earth. This being the bulk of mankind and all the various invented systems that people follow, and including the so-called spiritual masters that are supposed to know, but really do not. All of these people are obligated to meet the emergencies of death without support of any knowledge of how to use the sound wave to leave their body voluntarily. They leave their bodies unescorted, absolutely alone and helpless, under the law of their own karma. They are to receive payment in full for what they have earned in the life they have just finished. Of them, the messengers of death will not ask when they shall come. Neither do they listen to the cries or their distress. They are relentless, merciless, operating under the orders of their master, the negative power, the lords of the 3 worlds, whose duty is to administer absolute justice with no favoritism, just like a court on earth where the law becomes exact for the person in violation. Those who know of the unseen worlds and the real universal guides are aware that this includes the vast majority of mankind. It truly doesn't matter what religion or belief system that a person belongs to, or whether they are a king or a peasant, and no matter how good or bad they have been. All alike must face the dark angels and follow them where they lead. Each person must go when the hour strikes, whether they are ready or not. None in this class can stay the hand of death when the inevitable moment arrives. All must face death alone and meet its issues. Most people do not see the succession of lifetimes they have done this same routine. Future lifetimes will be very hard for so many, especially those that have ruled over and controlled others. Those who have purged others shall experience what they have administrated, and they will no longer be amongst the most privileged. The second class are the ones that have been students of the real guides, but have done little or nothing in the way of the new you session, or made any effort to work with the real guide on earth. This particular student will meet the real guide in his light body and be taken to that region or locality which they have earned. There he places them in a sort of training school where they make progress under his directions and according to their motivation. If they have done certain things wrong, the real guide will instruct them with the discipline they must undergo. They will continue in their training school until the time comes when they are fit to go into the higher worlds. But in no case does the student ever go before the judge of death, nor does the black angel of death ever approach him at the time of his physical death. The dark angel cannot approach the student of any real guide. The real guide takes care of his own students. He is the chosen one of the is. And since he is the embodiment of the true reality, none but the true silent ones have any jurisdiction over him. The real universal guides have the awareness to do as they like, and no one can obstruct their path. This is all so very real, and humans should pay attention. The third class is those who have learned to use the sound wave before leaving their bodies, but haven't quite attained the ability of the real journey. All of this class knows the day and hour when they are to go, long before it comes. The entire process of death is under their control, and there's never a shadow of difficulty or distress during the process of passing. Neither do they lose their consciousness for a single moment. They pass out of the body as easily as one would lay off an old garment. They simply use the sound wave to position themselves. These are the students that have practiced the new you sessions on a daily basis. They have already visited the region in which they are now to live, and so it is like going home to them. They break the silver cord and release the body forever. After this separation, they are free to go where they wish without any bonds of any sort. They go directly to that region with the real guide, where they are to stay for a time until they're ready for a higher level. These people usually see the benefits of working with the new presentation in whatever fashion it is being presented to the earth at this time. These two classes of students never return to the earth life again unless they so will it, or are ordered by the great reality to do so. Generally, they are taken upward step by step until they reach the highest level of the all is. It is extremely fortunate for any student to have reached the 7th level before they leave the physical body forever. The way to this real universe is opened to all. They can do it if they perform the required practice of the new you sessions and work with the true representative of the all is on earth with the new presentation of the secret knowledge only the real guides possess. Quite frankly, there are so many that do not step forward and do this. The newcomer must learn to test who is providing the real knowledge. There are so many teachers that profess they know, but the seeker must find the real leader amongst all the rogues. In every case, the students of the real guides are saved from the monotonous rounds of reincarnation and karma with their dreary life and on earth forever. The 4th class are the most privileged and aware, the real universal guides themselves. When the time comes that a real guide wishes to leave his body for good, he simply lays it down on his own will and steps out of it. He now breaks the cord and discards the body as an instrument for which he has no further use. His students will make sure that the body is cremated so that no evil souls can use it. The destruction of it by fire destroys any possibility of a distortion taking place. The real universal guides have the ability over life and death, and therefore nothing can interfere with them because they know the use of the sound wave. After leaving their bodies, they rise at once above all physical, all material worlds, above all the heavens of man and the space gods of authority, and take up their residence wherever they wish. They are now able to move into the higher duties that are assigned to them by the great reality, the All Is. The future for the two of you is set, because you will leave when most people will not expect it. You will have done what you came to do, and then you will be gone from here. Your time is not really set yet, Dwayne, because of all the possibilities that will be occurring when you have the real position, from the time Paul leaves to when you have adjusted to the real position. The earth will have gone through a lot of changes, and they will become very evident. The political and religious systems will be exposed, against their will, of course, but nonetheless, more people will see through how they have been manipulating the lives of so many. You will have the biggest challenge, Dwayne, and the most success. Your awareness of world events and control will allow you to present what the real guides want so many to know. You will be the greatest architect ever, and you will love it. Rebazar, I really do not see myself on a world scale of events at all, I said, rather surprised. Rebazar laughed and said, I cannot even describe to you what you will be going through to where we want you to be. It is way too much for now. But why me? Can't Paul do this? He has a lot more experience than I do. I asked, feeling really small in the moment, as though the world suddenly looked really big and endless. Rebazar laughed even harder and said, do you think Paul should do everything? He is going to set up with the outer knowledge. He is going to set you up with the outer knowledge, which you will take off with like a rocket. Paul will plant the seeds of the is all over the world so that you can come along later and reap the harvest. By the time you come into view, the membership idea will be old and outdated. Will I have time to serve? I asked, as kind of a funny thing to say. He looked at me, then gave me a big hug and said, you will always be the surfer, dude. Wow, okay, I guess that I could do this, I said, as Rebazar and Paul laughed. You will have the best people working with you, so until that time, just do what you do and I will take care of the rest. Now I will continue, he said. The real universal guides have the choice to remain in their physical body or leave this level of awareness. However, there are those that have chosen to stay and immortalize their physical vehicles to serve on this level. Some may return and find a body to use, while others have lived here only a few years. Then there are those who have been on Earth for centuries. It depends upon the individual and what he wishes to do here. In general, most let nature take its course in all matters of the physical, even though they have plenty of powers to interfere with the usual routine if they see fit to do so, but it is not their usual plan. The real guides can remain in their bodies for centuries or even thousands of years if they wish to. Many yogis have been known to keep their bodies for centuries, but the yogis are not of the high order as the real universal guides. Little is known about the real guides, as opposed to the multitudes of paths such as yoga and other systems that has become more of a social teaching like that of common religion. They are a good start, but you do not want to stay with what they are providing. It is better to go with the real guides. The real guides observe the laws of this world and carry on their work in harmony with those laws as closely as possible. We do respect the man-made laws if they make sense, but we do not limit ourselves to them. The laws of nature and the great reality are what I am referring to. Their work is strictly of a true and real nature for the benefit of all, and they do not wish to interfere with the rules governing the country in which they live. They have come to this world for a definite purpose, and they stick to that purpose and work as hard as possible. After all, what would be to their advantage if they should come for anything other than to present a real opportunity of benefit for all concerned? Most of mankind has no real purpose. After they have finished here, they will go on into a higher level of being, leaving their successors here to carry on what they have started. Sometimes there becomes a corruption with what they have presented, and this is where those who have the awareness will start a new position and presentation. The real guides always take on the challenge of creating a new presentation instead of trying to rework some existing regulated establishment. To the onlooking public, the existing institutionalized formulated systems seem to have credibility to them, but the real guides can see the real side and all the limitations that are taking place. The humans are the most vulnerable to deception. All of the universal guides have learned to use the new sound wave to move themselves about. They use it on the spot for traveling in the others and into other worlds and for making greater decisions and for protection. They wear the new sound around themselves like a rainbow, ready for use. This is what is known as the aura and magnetic field around man, according to scientists. The field itself is similar to all other fields of the same nature on every level, and that is the new sound wave. Each one of us needs this reality for our survival, and if we don't have it, then we will stay somewhere like a stone, in a semi-lifeless state until another being helps us and gives us the consideration to get out of this state and use the true reality for our own good. When the individual begins to lose this reality, he makes the long funeral march downward from the higher levels into the lower regions. This retrogression of the human race is due to the lack of a real education. That is some of New Book 3, The Real Far Country by Dwayne the Great Writer. The new presentation, www.wonderfulworldwideeducators.com, is there for those that take the risk to find out for themselves by testing the new use sessions, reading the Adventurous series of books by Dwayne the Great Writer. There are projects to become involved in, to have a real purpose with your life, why you came here this time, to wake up to what's real, to earn our way into the real universes where there's real love instead of this stuff we call love on earth that's just the emotional stuff, and where there's real freedom instead of this stuff we have on earth that we call freedom that's implied freedom. So the opportunity is being offered. So if anybody's listening, you can find out for yourselves by getting a hold of the people involved in the new presentation, the wonderful worldwide educators. There'll be all solar research vessels being created here in the physical for providing a Nations United Universal University and many things for everybody, whether it's housing or clean water, clean air, trying to share this new presentation all over the earth. So I guess I'll just end the show for today with the New You song. New You, you. See ya.